Come, hold my hand. Let's go on an adventure. Hi, welcome to Momatic Adventures. This is Effie McMorris. I am so happy that you tuned in, and I am really excited to tell you today's adventure because it's really near and dear to my heart. And today marks 1 year from that day. Today is May 25th, which my dear friend family essentially was born on this day. It was the day that she got married. It was the day that she brought my other best friend, Lily Jo, into our lives. And so this day holds so much meaning for me. So let me tell you a little bit about who this family is and what they mean to me. Sam is one of my dear friends. We have been friends for, oh goodness gracious, over 20 years. And I think she is one of the parents that I admire most in like the whole world, maybe. I watched her raise her child who celebrates her birthday today. From year one until today, I have been in their lives and I have gotten to watch her blossom as a parent, and I've gotten to watch Lily Jo become fucking so cool. Probably one of the coolest kids I know. Sam is married to this really cool guy named Rich, and the three of them form this awesome family. And I will actually be interviewing them on a later episode to get some insight, into their parenting style and just really break down, I guess, why I'm in awe of their parenting. Been able to witness it for so long has been really cool. Let's head back. Last year around this time, Poppy Mae was 3 months old and Lily Jo was about to turn 6. I had never missed her birthday. But yeah, so they live in Macon, Georgia, and it is such a cool place. There's so much love and history and art, and it really is so great. And there's so many people that we are going to talk to from there because it has been such a key point of our travel through the past year. And while we have learned, it's not the place that we want to call home, but it feels like home when we're there. And I think a big part of that is thanks to Sam, Rich, and Lily. And Gato, because also watching Lily parent a cat is like the cutest thing in the whole world. Coming up on Lily's birthday, we have like a travel bug that like we really need to itch. Ryan and I have always been keen on travel. And so it was really important that we got out there with Poppy and then to be there for Lily's birthday and have Poppy and Lily meet. And, there was just like this. It felt like this was the time. So we recruit my mom to be babysitter to our other daughter, Matilda, Tilly. Shout out Tilly. So my mom is going to watch Tilly and we are going to take a trip down to Georgia, then loop back around and head back up to New Jersey. A few days before we leave, Poppy has a tongue tie. We have to make a decision on that since she winds up having this like tiny little procedure in a doctor's office and it's fucking traumatic and horrible. And I was just like, oh my God, maybe like it's not the time to go. Prior to that, we were having like a lot of issues with like milk transfer and like she was doing fine, but I was really drained and she was eating like constantly. There was a lot of discomfort for me and really like it just like I wasn't doing great. And despite the fact that we were like making this plan to go on this trip, I also had been dealing with like a lot of postpartum like depression and anxiety. The anxiety was like so much worse, I guess, than I expected. And I think that I like was prepared for the depression. Like I have bipolar disorder. Like I'm very in tune with my mood. So I feel like I'm able to be like, okay, you're about to get super sad for no reason. But the anxiety was like a new level. The like fears and the like repetitive thoughts running through my head of what could happen, like what could go wrong. So like another reason that maybe it was so crazy to like get in the car and drive, but it was so important for me to be able to find a little bit of me again. And I feel like so much of our love story has been spent in our car. So I was excited to kind of bring Poppy in on that journey. And I like dream about the days when she's like 15 and we're all in the car and she's like, oh my God, Momo, please, song sucks. Maybe, honestly, who knows? We make this decision to drive into Georgia to be there for this birthday. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to show up for my friends, to show up for like past me, to show up for Poppy, there was just like a quadrillion thoughts running through my brain. And it felt like one of those moments where there was like a shift that needed to happen. And so we took it. We hop in the car. First stop is with our very good friend, Faith, who I think we're 2 days away from seeing her again. She's a really cool person, also pretty monumental in Ryan and my love story. And she just holds such a special place in my heart. Oh my goodness. I've watched her change so much, and she is now like such a badass boss therapist babe. She's so cool. And I'm really I'm so lucky to know the people that I know. And that they want to know me. And I'm really excited for you guys to meet them. If you haven't already. But yeah, so first stop's Faith Ferber. So Faith hasn't met Poppy. This is her first introduction to Poppy. And I can tell you there were days where Faith and I would talk about what it would be like when Ryan and I had a little. I mean, literally like 7 years ago, like we would be like laying in bed smoking, like life would be so shitty. And I would just be like, my life sucks. Like nothing's ever going to be good again, or nothing will ever work out, or whatever, like woe is me mentality that I was dealing with at that time. She was just like, let's just like keep trying. Like, let's just keep going. Like, let's not tap out yet of life. And so to be there in that moment and get to have Poppy meet all of Faith's animals, 2 cats and a dog, Rosie, Twinkie, Floofer. I think her full name is Flooferella, but honestly, who knows? So that like moment was really sweet. She's down in DC. So that was like the first stop. I think it was like 3 or 4 hours. We didn't know what to pack. And so like, also, there is an episode called Stuff. Yeah. And I really break down like the stuff that we bring, the stuff that we've learned we need or don't need, the things that we've just continuously carried around from place to place and have never used, and things like that. So be sure to keep an eye out for that episode coming very soon. We're in DC. We see Faith. It's lovely. We have a relatively quick hang. And then we make our way down to our first hotel, and sleeping in a tiny, like 1-bedroom hotel, like 1 room. And she's sleeping between 2 queen beds. And we're both kind of trying to take turns waking up and feeding her and whatever. It was hard and it was exhausting. But I also remember that she ate like so well that night. So I think we might have even gotten like, that might have been one of our first like 4 or 5 hour sleeps at that point. And I think we were both like on a high from just like being out and in the world in a hotel room with her and on an adventure. It felt like very exciting, nerve-wracking, and just like there was like a level of excitement that was like zooming through, I think, all 3 of us. Maybe not. Maybe I was imagining the whole thing. Who knows? Excuse me. We're just going to take a quick break so that I can chug some Diet Coke. This podcast is brought to you by Diet Coke. In fact, I'm brought to you by Diet Coke. I live off of it. Tell me all the reasons it's terrible for me, I guess. So we get down to, we're in like Virginia, I think, and we spend the night at this hotel. And then the next morning we're like, we have to get down to North Carolina. Okay. So we're going from somewhere, Virginia, down near Asheville, North Carolina, on the second leg of our first trip. Oh, actually, before we even get to their house, I feel like this is like very important for me to share. We're driving on the highway and there is a field. I mean, if you know this place, it is full blown magical. If you want, you can hop on over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Momatic Adventures. And there are a ton of pictures of this. And as well as if you go to our Instagram, again, Momatic Adventures, like a poppy field as far as my eyes could see for that like split second, I guess. But so we're on the highway. I don't know exactly where we're going, but there's like off an exit, there's just like a massive poppy field and it's like absolutely beautiful. I am emotional because like whatever, just always am emotional probably usually, but I was just like, oh my goodness, like we have to go there. And it winds up being like 15 minutes from the place that we're staying. We get to go there and we actually wind up doing like these cute little photo sessions. And then the poppies are out right now. I'm like fingers crossed trying to make my way over there again because the people who we stayed with are, they live very close to this poppy lavender like field off some exit in near Asheville, like North Carolina. I mean, it's so gorgeous. Go to like the social medias or wherever, like go look. The photos are phenomenal. If you're in North Carolina, go there. If you've been there, tell people about it. Like just so cool. We make our way to near Asheville, a town called Weaverville, I believe, North Carolina. And we get to hang out with like another group of parents that I admire and love so fucking much. Also, fingers crossed, we get to chat with them at some point. Lex and Dylan are like housemaking duo. I truly couldn't explain to you exactly what they do, but like essentially she's an interior designer. She is like an emotionally interior, like she will take your space and make it a home and make it feel something. And so she can like create these thoughts and mood boards and curate this beautiful space. Dylan is the carpenter person, the everything that go-to fix-it man. I've also known Dylan for something over 20 years and is similar to me in the art fields. He loves any new medium and tactile medium, something that he enjoyed messing with. And so to be able to like build her thoughts and the way that they like work together. And they also travel a ton because they live now in a state that's not where they met, family all over. And I hope that we get to talk to them. I haven't gotten that A-okay at this point, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't want to talk to me. They love me. I think they maybe like me. I'm not entirely sure, but they now have two kids whom I love so very much. I am so excited again that I get to watch the two of them grow as parents and watch their littles grow into the people that they are becoming, and watching them become who they are is just so cool. And really just we're so lucky that we get to like love our families together, love family together, family love together, something, whatever. We're in Weaverville, beautiful poppy field. We're spending time with a family whom we love. They sold a house that they had made into this like magical fairy cottage. Now they're kind of doing the same with the house that they own. And so we're lucky enough to like get to watch the progression of their bottom floor get like redone into this like amazing, I mean, if you're lucky enough to Airbnb there, do it. Just like do it. Like it's such a lovely place to live, literally. So yeah, so we stayed there for a couple days and got to watch their daughter at the time and Poppy play, and it's just always really lovely when we get to all spend time together. We do a couple of fun things in Asheville. A big part of this trip is to see friends and loved ones, have Poppy meet some people that mean so much to us, and then get to Georgia for this moment. Then we hop in the car, and now we're going from North Carolina and we're heading down to Macon, Georgia. We get to see Faith in DC. Then we get to see Dylan, Lex, and Hazel in North Carolina. And then we finally arrive in Macon, Georgia. I genuinely, like, in this moment, I'm trying to remember just how strong that feeling was of being with this family that, like, I love so much, and, like, were monumental in, like, the decision and the communication between Ryan and I, and the fears, and, like, both Sam and Rich were like the hands that held ours when there were times where we couldn't talk to each other, or we were scared, or, you know, we weren't sure we could be parents or whatever. And Sam and Rich were just like those people for us. And Lily has been this kid that I have loved for her whole entire life. And I'm a little bummed right now because I would really like to be with her. But as is part of our lifestyle, that really difficult is sometimes we can't be there for the big moments, and we can't be there when it's a little bit hard and you need a hug, and we can't be there when you have a birthday party, or you find out something important, or you have a hard day, or any of those fun things or bad things or whatever. Any of those moments in life where you want to be with the ones you love. Sometimes when you're living this lifestyle, you don't get to do that. It's a great part of being able to utilize technology to allow us to communicate with people and to kind of be as close as we can without being in the same room. And so we get to hang out at one of the places I actually really am excited to tell you guys about is Society Garden. It is a super cool bar venue. There's like food truck in the back. They have art. They have events. You can bring food. They have food. There's amazing drinks. It's like outside, it's inside. It's so fun. There's like activities to do when maybe there's like a sports game. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Sports game. But you know, they put on art shows. They do some really cool things there. And every single time we are in town, we make a point of hanging out there. It is so fun. The kids get to run around. We get to relax and drink. And we've been there in the rain, in, you know, the cold. We hung out there on a nice hot day. Like, it really is such an awesome place. Highly recommend it. If you're in town, go there, enjoy it. So we got to spend like a ton of time in Macon and just hang out at the house that our friends live in. We got to also go to, there's like an arcade downtown. I don't remember what the arcade was called, but in like downtown Macon, there's just so many great things. And I definitely am going to do like a full, probably 2 episodes just on like Macon and like the activities that we did there. And then like on top of that, I really am hoping to talk to some people who work in the public systems there. There are a lot of like really great like kid activities, free activities, like things at the libraries and at different parks and stuff. So I definitely want to make time to like chat with some people who work at some of those. But on this trip specifically, we hung out downtown. We went to a beach in like I believe it was Claystone Park. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. I think it's like a man-made beach type vibe. It was super cool. It was fun to like go to beachy type place. Poppy was born in the winter in New Jersey, and so it was her first time like in the water. Poppy now is such like a water babe, and I'm a little mermaid in my heart, so that was really exciting to like get to do that. But yeah, we stay there for maybe a week because Ryan does work remote, but he works at hours and everything. And we have to make that work with our driving times. So if it's a work day, maybe we're not driving Friday after work, or maybe we're driving in the morning, which really sucks because it means we have to be somewhere by 9 a.m., which typically means we have to be on the road by like 4 or 5. Now we're in June. We head to Blue Ridge, Georgia. We were very lucky to stay with family friends of Ryan's that he has known since he was a child. I think I had met them maybe twice before this, maybe 3 times. But they are English and they live here in the States, and they came over a number of years ago. They have such an interesting story, and I think definitely give us both some inspiration to find our own home in the world. Yeah, so we got to hang out in Blue Ridge, Georgia for a few days, which was really cool. We got to go downtown a little. We got to see like the few different places. We did spend a lot of time at their house. Their house is like unbelievably gorgeous, and they have a cat. Poppy also definitely wanted to like play with the cat. We spent a few days in Blue Ridge, Georgia, do a few different experiences. We get to go to a few restaurants, but really not a ton. I mean, all of these trips were really, or all of these stops were just to let Poppy meet the people who matter to us. It's sometime in June and we have to get back up to New Jersey. We leave Blue Ridge and we go to Knoxville. Knoxville was really actually so cool. I think we could have had a lot more fun in Knoxville. I think we didn't really get to stay long enough. I think we knew pretty quickly that it wasn't like the place for us. But I feel like it deserves like another like real hangout because we definitely didn't get to go and stay there for a long time. It was just like a day or two, I think. Then we were headed to West Virginia. We did some like really cool bridge canyon, something or other, and maybe Lansing or Edmond or something. But really cool. It's like this huge bridge. We got to go. Ryan really enjoyed it. Then we stayed in that night. We wound up staying in Lewisburg, which I believe is in West Virginia. It's like such a tiny itty bitty town. We went to like this cute little bar in town and we walked around in like their downtown and it was really cute. But again, just like we didn't spend a ton of time. We went up to Virginia and I think if memory serves me right, we wound up getting a flat tire like the morning we were heading back to New Jersey, and it wound up taking us like 10 hours to deal with instead of, because so we had to check out of the hotel, but because Ryan was working, he was at like a local coffee shop or place. I forget if it was a library or a place, like a eatery. But he was working. So I was packing up the car with the baby and, we're putting the stuff in the car and we're hanging out maybe at the lobby of the hotel, and I get the stuff in the car and he's about to, go on his lunch. And so I'm getting in the car to go pick him up and I start driving and I'm like, the car feels weird. And we have a sensor that should tell us that there's like a flat tire, but that it didn't for some reason. And so we wind up with a flat tire, which means we couldn't get any like distance during like his lunch break, which meant we couldn't leave like the Falls Church, Virginia area until like after work that day. So I don't think because also we didn't want to leave at like 5. So we had to wait till like 7:30 when Poppy was like getting ready for bed. So we had to drive through the night and it was so foggy, like so foggy. I remember being like, am I nuts? Like I can't see anything. I think maybe it was like less than a day. Or it might have just been like a day. The day we got home, there was like 10 different fires that had happened or were happening at that time. There was like fires in New Jersey, I think fires in like Canada, not that it would probably affect, but like California. There was just like all these fires. I remember like the sky was, I genuinely forget exactly what happened because I just feel like I was in my own world. I want to go back and look at that. Like, do you guys remember when there were all those fires and like the sky was red and you could see the sun and it was absolutely wild? Then eventually we got home and we did it. We got back to New Jersey. I think we were fully out like from day to day, like the day we left to the day we got back. I think it was like less than 5 weeks, but it was really, really, yeah, I remember we had to get back because we had a wedding. We had a wedding to go to. It was Poppy's first wedding. So we're really excited. We can definitely talk about that more on another episode. But that was our first big trip. So I zoomed through some of it because so much, super emotional. But also I want to keep talking forward. I want to keep I want to give you guys some context on where we were when we first started traveling, but I also want to make sure we're talking and keeping things up to date on sort of what we're doing now. But I also want to go back and share a little bit about how we took these small steps to get where we are, that it wasn't just we made this decision and then we hopped in the car and, we did little legs, we tried different things. We had to figure out how traveling with someone working full time, a baby with a nap schedule, and then, running into like car issues. We realized very quickly we needed AAA. So AAA, if you want to sponsor us or if you need a new spokesperson to say, hey, join AAA, I can do that. I can be that person for you. But truly, AAA is great for us at least. It was super helpful and it gives me some peace of mind when you think about all the things that can go wrong. Even the smallest bit of peace of mind, I think, is valuable. Lean on and use those things, those comforts and those tools and what you need to have a successful trip, even if maybe not everybody agrees that those things are needed or that they're necessary. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please click that follow button. And if you have the time to give us a review, I would so appreciate it. If you know anybody who's interested in travel, parenthood, and chaos, tell them about this show. If you'd like to learn more about us, please head to momaticadventures.buzzsprout.com for access to all our information. And I can't wait for next week. Bye.